Hey guys, Brandon Laser here. Today I'm actually going to be talking about kind of not so much the state of the meta, but basically where the meta is going. As you can see in the title, I'm kind of wondering whether Yugi will be repeating history or kind of repeating itself. A while ago, while I was playing Magic, I really like Magic, and I wanted to learn about the design of the cards and stuff and all that, and I really like the design of a lot of their cards in Magic, and I read an article by one of the lead designers, or one of the designers that's usually the lead designer on a lot of the sets, Mark Rosewater, and he was saying how he would hear people talk about how the meta is so different, the meta is broken right now, and all this stuff, and people would complain about the state of the meta, and he would say it's kind of funny because the meta is the exact same way it was last meta, except it's just shifted to a different like deck type. What he means is he gave an example of this, and he said that when they change things in the meta to balance it, an example you can use is an Escher stairs, or MC Escher stairs, and basically MC Escher stairs are an infinite loop, and it's just like, I'll have a picture maybe right here, and but I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. It's like it's a staircase that goes up and then it goes back down, and then it goes back up and then it goes back down in a square. And so what he said is what you do is you balance the meta by moving something from one spot and putting it in another spot. So it seems like the meta's changed. And I think that's true for basically all the TCGs. And right now, in a video, one of Mega Capital G's videos, he said that Atlanteans reminded him of Lightsworn like a lot, and I was like, okay, that holds some merit. You play Mulan Glace, and Mulan Glace is sort of like a JD. You need 5 guys, whereas JD would need 4 different Lightsworns. They get their effects from dumping, and all that stuff. And it's really similar in a lot of aspects, but it's different in that it's water versus light, and that's where I kind of realized, I was like, wait, that makes sense that it's like Lightsworn, because it is Lightsworn essentially. Like, the mechanics very similar. I'm surprised they haven't come out with a Rhoda for the deck, or Solar Recharge or something like that. But it's pretty close. It's really close. And so with that being said, I kind of was thinking, I was like, well, are we going to see another dad deck? Are we going to see another Teledad? And I went to the wiki and looked up the tier list for decks. And in 2009, the tier 1 decks were Gladbeast, Teledad, Lightsworn, Twilight, Blackwing, Rescue Cat, and Stun. And then tier 2 decks were Hopeless, Dragon, Monarchs, Plant, and Zombie. I'm not going to go into tier 3. But basically, right now, in our current meta, there is no Teledad. I mean, essentially, like, Windups is as close as it gets, but not really. Lightsworn is basically Atlanteans, or Atlantean Remales, or whatever way you want to look at that. That's what our Lightsworn is right now. Twilight, I guess you could say the same thing, kind of Atlantean Remales. Not really though, sort of. Blackwings, our Blackwings are Windups. Windups are very similar to Blackwings. By the way, the mechanic of Blackwings, the way Blackwings worked. Rescue Cat is basically Rescue Rabbit, just nobody's playing it. And I think Rescue Rabbit could be really awesome right now. I think if somebody came out, just took some time and developed a really good deck, we'd have another Rescue Rabbit deck. Stun is Rock Stun. It's not tier 1, but I mean, Rock Stun exists. Like, it's pretty good. It just falls apart to a certain decks, though. And then tier 2 Hopeless Dragon could either be, Heretics, or Chaos Dragons, or some variation of that. Maybe Twilight. Maybe that's Twilight. Chaos Dragons. I don't know. Monarchs is basically Frognarks. Frognarks exists. People play Frognarks. Plants. There's no plant deck right now to say really. I'm assuming that after Spore was released, they're gonna come out with something plant-wise that'll maybe help plants again. It just makes sense. And Zombies has always kind of been around. So you know, I mean, all the basic same decks are still technically around, and we're kind of creeping up to, you know, Cosmo Blazer coming up soon in December, I think. Actually, I think it comes out in January. But anyway, point being, um, that with that set coming out, there will technically be a Teledad deck. Essentially, there will be a Teledad deck that's super powerful. And what I'm talking about is, yeah, Cosmo Blazer comes out in January. So come January, we will have our Teledad deck back, essentially. And what I mean by this is Lavels. Lavels is ridiculously powerful. Lavels reminds me of Teledad so much. You know, when, at its full capacity. I played Lavels a lot of times on DN, and it's just first turn kill almost every time. It's super consistent. There's Quasars everywhere, and, you know, just all they need is like one card and they go off. And it's just like, dude, it's like playing Teledad again. And like, it doesn't even matter whether or not, you know, they have the 4 or 5, you know, the fire monsters that they need in the graveyard, like Dad would need. They just need one to hit the graveyard, and that just starts the chain reaction of like dumping, and it's ridiculously fast. And so like, it just seems like we're going back to that format, back to the Teledad format, and it's, you know, unfortunately, I really didn't like Teledad format. I played Teledad format when Teledad was at 2, but yeah. So I mean, like, just be prepared for that, I guess. Is what I'm trying to say. Is like, you know, right now might be a calm, you know, that everybody likes or a lot of people hate, but be prepared for very fast, super powerful decks. Atlanteans and Mermails are like Lightsworn. You know, windups are like Blackwings, and Lavels are going to be the new Teledad, essentially. It's just such a consistent deck, and it's super powerful. It's really fast. I mean, I don't know what else to really say. It's just like, basically, we're going back to that. We're going back to that format where the games are going to be over in like 2 turns, you know. And the crazy thing about Fire is that they're going to have Pyrorex, so they're basically gonna have a Dad in their deck, and then they're also going to have Quasar, which they make. They make Quasar. So I mean, like, is that really fair for them to have a Pyrorex and a Quasar? I don't know. I mean, it just reminds me of Teledad so much. Like when Teledad would just dump like 3 synchros on the board and 2 dads, and then that was it, and you were done, or, you know, whatever, just like crazy stuff. And so I mean, like, you know, I don't know. It just seems like that's what we're going back to. I think that's the kind of observation I've made just from Mega Capital G pointing out that Atlanteans are very similar to Lightsworn. And I was like, oh, well, that's true. But then I started digging a little deeper and thinking about it, and I'm like, if that's the case, then are we going back to that format? And I think that we are. I think we are going to be seeing a very fast, a brutally fast format that's also very expensive, though. So, you know, I mean, just let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you feel like we are heading back towards, you know, insanely fast, expensive format, or if you know, if it's still going to be pretty balanced. I mean, like, you know, there are 3 elemental lords so far, so I mean, each element still kind of has a chance to sort of be balanced with each other in that aspect, but not really. I mean, from what I've seen, you know, it looks like it's just going to be that format repackaged in new decks, essentially. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to see when I put out new videos, and thanks for watching.